This is the third time I'm recording this because last two times I recorded in Hindi and then I thought English would be better because it would be more compatible to a lot more people. Saying that is kind of hilarious because India has the most amount of population. Coming to the specific point, so there is this specific problem that I have been facing from quite a few days that I have also mentioned in my identity recording, specifically the last one in which in the end I mentioned about the efficiency ratio of mine getting bad. That is the amount of input I can get from any conversation with anyone is generally comparatively low with respect to how much output I give to that person. If we put in general like percentage thing, then not too exact, but generally it's like I'm giving 70% of output and I'm only getting 30% and 20% of input, even after accounting the Feynman technique facts that if you teach someone you also get revised those topics in your mind and or those get structured or you found new links, the bouncing back of thoughts, accounting everything. In general it happens that it is generally just like 30% or 20% of input that I get compared to 70% of output that I can give to that people. And that is why I've also noticed that mostly I'm the one who is talking in a conversation and not the one who is listening. I get that it might be also because I'm a bad listener and the absorption rate that I have in my mind in my learning technique is comparatively bad to others, because in general I have this habit of learning by experimenting and doing things on my own with respect to my own ways, by going to the philosophical basis and by seeing through different stands and perspectives and all that. I don't have any problem with my time going for someone or while talking to someone or having a conversation, but it is not the best efficient utilization of the topic, because what happened that I generally also noticed by recording some clips is that if I talk about some specific topic to someone, then those topics are again revised by me by talking to someone else in some other form, in some other language, in some other different way. So it's basically like I'm saying the same thing multiple times, the data redundancy thing, and I don't like any kind of redundancy. Those are not widely available to some people whom I don't talk in general or I converse with in general. So it's not good that whatever I have in my mind, whatever things I can give to anyone, I can just give it to a specific amount of people to whom I talk and not to the general people and society in general. There could be this simple way that I just stop talking to people in general or just modify my way of communication in ways in which I get the most amount of input and I reduce the amount of output. It won't be hard for me with respect to the way I work, and I would just need to train myself a bit with respect to conversation, but that would be easier way with respect to the final output, but it would be wrong with respect to my ethical and philosophical way of working, to name it rule book. So I don't want to do that, and to be honest I cannot do that. It will be hard for me to live with myself if I do that. So this subtle way that I have found with involving more amount of management is that now I would try to record as much as I can by the consent of the people and remove the privacy sector and upload it on YouTube or something, or store it somewhere as I used to do it earlier as my they me thing that I did on my account a while ago. It was all textual because at that time I did not had enough amount of internet or conversation to record, but now it would be like video or podcast or something. I would not use the name podcast because it's more like virtual hangout thing, but who is to say what is podcast in the days when everyone is recording a thing and it's calling them podcast. Let us see what it goes. So yeah, with respect to the end user, what you have to do now, the thing is that difference would be I would not be having any conversation longer than let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes with you, because the concept and the thing that you would have to talk about, just write them down and make them more quantized so that we can talk about them in once instead of talking about them in chunks and pieces one way or other, and talking about them in full concentration mode, not like I'm going somewhere on cycle or doing something and then talking about it like that, because that is not good in any ways. Not concentrated on the road, not fully in the talk as well. So like just write down the things that you have to talk, and that would be good for you also. Your mind will get more structured in general, so your life will get more structured, and you'll become more articulate and all. And it would also be good with respect to this full concentration while talking, so you'll even be able to absorb more of whatever output I have to give. And same would apply to me as well. If you are giving like 30% output or 40% output from your end, then I'll be able to absorb that completely. Basically the modem will become efficient if it just have to focus on transcoding the signals. I don't know why I went to the signal system. Well, coming to the point, so I don't know if this will work or not, what will happen to this end, but I'm thinking about starting this new thing and let's see how it unfolds. And I will obviously trim out the privacy segment thing. It will be a lot more of work from my segment with respect to editing, recording, managing with respect to all of my other work, and talking about it specifically to a lot of people. But in the end, management is better than sacrifice, because management would also teach me the skill of management, I guess. Overall, I guess by this, even if the output won't be more, even I guess in the end, even if the input would not increase on my end, that I would get more amount of input from people or conversations, then at least the output that I will give will become more efficient and will become more applicable and will also be stored at the same time. And also alongside managing those output things and being able to make it more efficient, I would also be learning ways of efficiency, increment, and management. So it has more benefits compared to the way that I'm already having, without even harming anyone else or doing some other non-ethical or things that are against my rule books in general. So yeah, let's see how this works and unfolds, and let's see.